Still battling with bullying and things like that. I battle with it a lot. It was hell going to school every day. It was hell going to the bus stop. I dreaded going to the bus stop. I remember it got so bad one time, I came home just breaking down. Around this time, my aunt was raising me. And I remember her saying to me, "So what? At least they don't come home with you." The start of my silence is what saved me. The start of my inner peace as a young child saved me from that school. It saved me from continuing to go through the trauma at that school. I don't know what it was that came over me. I changed dramatically. I changed so much. My behavior changed. Maybe it was an angel that came over me that said, "This is the turning point back to the navigation that I originally had you on in life. I'm here to change it back to that path." Eventually, I graduated out of that school. I'll never forget, leaving the school. Teachers were celebrating me leaving the school and moving on to better things. And now I'll never forget incoming students coming in and pointing to me as an example. So from there, I wasn't necessarily back at square one. I had some hurdles to get through to get back to where I was fully. From the alternative school, I graduated to is what is called MIP. MIP schooling. I have no idea what it stands for. I just remember it was called MIP. And what MIP was, it was kids who were divided from the rest of the school, rest of the regular classrooms and students, which I did not like. I hated that. I hated that about this program. It divided us. We were in the trailers outside. We rarely participated in any activities of the other kids. I hated that so much looking back on that. I hated it so much. In the classroom, the teachers were definitely more disciplinarian. It created this environment that you felt beneath everyone. You felt like you were nobody. You felt like a second-class citizen. I hated that so much. I hated that. It pisses me off that was allowed. I remember walking by classrooms, seeing the tennis balls on the bottom of the legs of the desks. And I remember peeking my head in the classroom, smelling the classroom, looking around saying, "Wow, this is where I want to be. I want to be with the regular students." I remember doing that, and that shouldn't have been my experience. That shouldn't have been any of our experience. I remember the same thing really went on in the MIP classrooms as the alternative school. But you felt like you were closer to the regular students because you went to the same school as the regular students. So you felt like it was a step up. I hate even saying that in this video. Regular students, MIP, I hate even saying, we were all regular students. We were all normal kids. I remember finally being in a regular classroom, regular school, starting in the 6th grade. Still battling with bullying and things like that. It was hell going to school every day. It was hell going to the bus stop. I dreaded going to the bus stop every single day of my life. I remember it got so bad one time, I came home just breaking down, crying. Around this time, my aunt was raising me. And I remember her saying to me, "So what? At least they don't come home with you." I remember her saying that. I knew that I dealt with them most of my day. And most days out of the week, I dealt with it. I went to school 5 days a week. Things got a little better, much better, I want to say in the 8th grade, because in the 8th grade, I started applying myself to different clubs, organizations, writing the school yearbook dedication to 9/11 in the 8th grade. I remember being involved in interacting with other kids, with other races, and that is what, made me flourish. It made me not focus on all that bad stuff, I think being different is what saved me from being like those other kids in my neighborhood who were up to no good, Those other kids in the neighborhood, they were into the drugs. They were doing God knows what. Even though I grew up in the hood, I didn't let it dictate my life. I could have easily done X, Y, Z. I could have easily went over here and did God knows what, but I chose not to. And I think me being different is what saved me. When you're different to other people, It's odd to them. It's weird to them, so they make fun of you. And when you're being made fun of, you're different. I wasn't the type of kid who gave in. I wasn't the type of kid who had to prove myself to someone so they wouldn't make fun of me. I wasn't that kid who, oh, okay, well, let me be tough. Let me do this so they know I'm tough, so that I can fit in. I wasn't that kid. I always held my own. I was always in my own lane. I always did my own thing. I would say I was soft-spoken. I would say that I let people run all over me as a bully, you know? I never spoke up for myself. I was too scared, you know? But I did choose to not engage in certain things and not do certain things. And I just think overall me being different saved my life. Looking back, you know, I think the biggest theme of my life has been forgiveness. I've had to forgive my parents even when they didn't even ask to be forgiven. In their absence, I've had to forgive them, you know. And it was hard. It was hard. It was so hard. Sometimes I would get so mad and so upset with them, and I would blame them, and then say to myself, you know what, Vernon, you can't do that because you've come to a point in your life where you've forgiven. You have to move on with your life. You just have to move on. You can't hold this in forever because you will never succeed in life doing that. You will never get to the places you want to be in life by doing that. It's going to hold you back. That anger is going to hold you back.
Just like the choice I made at being silent in that room to save myself from that school, I made the choice to forgive so that I may free myself once again at becoming the full, authentic person I'm supposed to be.
No matter what cards you were dealt with, learn to forgive, learn to move on with your life. I know that's easier said than done. I can say that all day. If you have relationships with people who are strained, try to communicate, try to forgive, try to move on, because it's holding you back from doing well. It's holding you back from being the person that you are really called to be. It's holding you back. I share this story because I survived it. I came through with it. Even though me and my mother and my father we're not on a relationship that I would like, there is a relationship, there's something there, and I appreciate that even. Someone always has it much worse than me, you know? And I try to think about that often. I think about that all the time. It always could be much worse. It always could be much worse. And so you have to just learn to appreciate what you got and what you have. What the cards you were dealt in life, you have to learn to just appreciate that and just move on, you know? And it's not fair, it's not right, it's unjust, but moving forward, you know what to do next. You know what to do next. You know how to do things differently next time. You know what to do next. You know how to break family curses. You know how to break the trauma cycles because you went through it, and you can address it and you can testify to it. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate you for allowing me to be transparent, and I appreciate you for listening. And let me know in the comments some of the things that you find similar in your story, and I will catch you guys on the next video. All right, peace.